Alright, so I just want to put this out there before the video starts that I am not a videographer. I'm not good at making videos, period. I'm not good at talking or anything like that. I can't even get my words straight sometimes. But I did want to make a quick little video to possibly help somebody to do this project. Because it is, or can be, intimidating. And it can be costly. So that's all this video is for. It's just, to help somebody. So just wanted to put that out there. And if you got any questions or anything, just shoot me just drop a comment or whatever you do on YouTube. And I usually respond pretty quick. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so I wanted to make a quick video here of how I got the Victor Jr. intake on my 2000 Dodge Ram, and still have AC. That was the key thing for me. Anybody can do it, but to have AC is the issue. You have to excuse my shop here. It's pretty messy right now. So what you want to do is you take the stock AC bracket or ACC bracket, whatever you want to call it. You just want to go to town and notch that out any way you can. Doesn't have to be pretty. You're not even going to see it. So that's what I've done right there. Just notched it out. Air compressor goes right there, or the AC compressor. The alternator goes there, so you can notch that out, just like that. You're gonna have to plug that little guy right there. I think it's a 3/8 MPT. You're gonna have to have the LA thermostat housing. Obviously, it's kind of a LA intake manifold with the LA thermostat. This ain't the Magnum. The Magnum is smaller. The LA is I think it's like 2 1/8 or something like that. I can't remember. You're also gonna have to get an adapter. I think it's 3/8 to 1/4 MPT adapter for your coolant. This comes with it, and that's pretty much it for the intake as of right now. You're gonna have to, though, somehow get your fuel rail system to work. I got the Hypotech fuel rails right here set out to the side. This is for the Hughes intake, the air gap, because I had the air gap on this. It just wasn't feeding enough air for this motor here. So one of the key things is putting this Super Victor intake onto your 2000 Dodge Ram is, I guess, the main thing before you even start. You're either going to need trick flow heads, or you're going to have your heads drilled on the LA bolt pattern. LA bolt pattern goes at an angle. The Magnum goes straight down. So you're going to have LA heads, trick flow heads, or Magnum heads drilled. That's a must. You have to. So, but the fuel rails is going to be the biggest pain. So what I done was I ordered some, I don't know, 2/16, 1/6, I'm really not sure, stainless steel off Amazon, and put them in the vise here and kind of give them a little bend so you can bolt the fuel rails to it, like so. You see how it's kind of doing right there. So you're going to have to come up with some type of bracket system, or if you have fuel rails like me, you don't want to buy more, or you can buy the fuel rails for this intake. They're Edlebrock. It'll bolt right to this intake. Then you got to buy all the fittings to make it adapt to your stock fuel outlet thing. I didn't want to purchase all of that. I already had the Hypotex for the air gap, so I just made some new brackets. This is what I did. And if you go the route I go, you're gonna have, I think these are inch. What are these? Inch and a half, I think. Inch and a half for all the main bolts. I like as much grab on the threads and bolts, whatever, as possible. So I want to get the longest bolt possible. I don't want just a little bit of meat. I want as much as possible. So, but like this bolt here in the back passenger corner, I had to cut it. I ordered these bolts off Amazon. It's just cheaper. They're stainless steel. Yada, yada, yada. But if you don't have, I think these I cut them to like 1.25 inches. I had to sacrifice a little something. Or if you can find the small head bolts, like these here. I found them at 1.5 inches, the size I want it, and the size I need it. $70. I wasn't paying $70. I just made this work. So you gotta find out how you want to attach your fuel rails, or buy the fuel rail to go with this. That's the hardest part for me, is to get the Hughes or Hypotech fuel rails for the air gap to fit this. That was my biggest thing. And also spacing the AC compressor. I'll show you that here in just a minute. Okay, so let's talk about vacuum. You're gonna have to have a vacuum for your brakes and AC or whatnot. Okay, this is the Hughes 2-barrel adapter for his air gaps. That's what that is. I cut it all out. That's what this is. The Hughes 2-barrel adapter, extreme velocity air hat, which is, in my opinion, better than the Volants, the Spectras. It's just a smooth entry straight in. Okay. This is a F&B 58mm throttle body. It's pretty beefy. But anyway, you're gonna have to have a vacuum. This is what I made mine with. You can buy these. I know Chris at Hypotech has them for $80 plus shipping. You can do that, make your own, find another supplier or whatever. I made mine, as you see here. I got one of those. I gotta replace this with, this is an air chuck for a 1/4 inch air chuck for a air hose. So what I did was, in the back of it, back here, I drilled, I think it's a 3/8 MPT, drilled and tapped. You gotta use a 7/16 drill bit, a 3/8 MPT plug or tap. And I'll show you everything on the computer here about this vacuum. It's a lot better of a price, deal, whatever. Here's a close-up of this bracket. Doesn't have to be pretty. Like, you're never gonna see this. You're never gonna see this. This is to clear the water pump bypass hose. That's right here. Because on the LA, it comes out and at an angle. The Magnum just comes straight down. So let's go look at the let's look at what I used for a vacuum tree. So there's this guy right here. You can see that right there. $6.99. That's what I use for my vacuum tree. You need a brake booster. the brake booster, AC, and the PCV vent system. That's what I use mine for. You can obviously get bigger ones, smaller ones. Oh, here it is right here. You can get bigger ones, smaller ones, whatever you want to do. Sure, choice is yours. Okay. This is what I used. That's a 1/4 inch. I don't know if I said 3/8 earlier. Anyway, this is a 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch male pipe fitting. 1/4 inch MPT. This is what I used to attach that blue vacuum block to that 2-piece or 2-barrel adapter. This is what I use. You can choose brass, you can choose whatever you like, but this is the way I did it. You can get an idea of what I did, and you can copy it or just use the idea. You can see that's $10. I'm sure you can find something a little cheaper, but all right, next thing. This right here is the plug that I used, just to cap off the other end. If you got something else that you want to use the vacuum port for, you can use that. Put another adapter, barb fitting, whatever. I paid, I guess, $5.99 for this. Okay. This is the adapter, 1/4 inch female to a 3/8 male. This is what you're gonna need to put the coolant temp sensor in the intake, because everything on the intake is a 3/8. So you're gonna need 3/8 male to a 1/4 inch female to put the coolant temp sensor in there. And it's $3. You're gonna have to have that or figure out a different way to do it. But this is how I did it. This is the drill bit I use. You gotta use a 7/16 drill bit to drill and tap, or to drill that adapter, throttle body adapter. 7/16 bit. I wouldn't recommend this one. It did not like the aluminum. You can pick one, but 7/16 is the size you want, not a 1/2 inch. It won't fit right. It's got to be 7/16. These are the bolts that I used. See, 1.5 inch long is what I really wanted. 3/8 by 16 is a thread pitch on the Victor. They got ARPs too, but like I said, I couldn't find them. I think the ones I found was for like a Chevrolet, and it was $70 for the small head. I want the hex head, small head, 1.5 inch long, 3/8 by 16. It's just too much, so I just took a gamble on this, and it worked out fine. This here is what I used to plug that other coolant port on the intake, because I didn't need it. That other plug, that's what it was. I mean, the other port on the intake. You're gonna need that. Now, these gaskets right here is what I use religiously. They got them for Magnum. Oops. They got them for the Magnum. You don't know the Magnum because it has an oval instead of a circle. The Magnums will have an oval for the bolt holes. This is for the LA, but they make these for both Magnum and LA. This is the LA, so the ones you want with the Victor intake, the trick flow head. These are the best gaskets, hands down. You can see the rubber inlay. Straight up, the best gaskets ever. So this is what I use right here, hands down. This is the monstrous thermostat right here. This junker's humongous. You can see it's for the old stuff, the LA stuff. This is the one I used. Fits perfect. Okay. Here's this monstrous. I say that, it's really not. But there's this thermostat housing. You can go a different route. They got some billet ones that look pretty cool. They're obviously more expensive. This one's $13. It works fine. You're never gonna see it. But this is the one I used, and it fit just fine. It works just fine. Seals great. Does its job. Okay, so just a minute ago I said that the 1/4 inch to 3/8 to a 1/4 adapter was for the coolant temp sensor. I lied. That was for another project. I put a temperature sensor for the electric fans inside the block, so I needed that. This one is the one you need for the coolant temp sensor. 3/8 MPT to a male to a 1/4 inch MPT, or here I go with a 1/4 inch again, with an 1/8 inch MPT female. So you need a 3/8 male to 1/8 inch female. This, my friends, is for the coolant temp sensor, not 3/8 to a 1/4. I don't know what I was thinking. This is the one you want for the intake coolant temp sensor. All right, here's your good old tap. 1/4 inch by 18 MPT. That's what I use to drill or to tap the 2-barrel adapter for the vacuum tree thing that I made. That's what I used. It worked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I did a good job. So that's what I used. $10. Worked fine. Alrighty, so that's the vacuum tree. I mean, is it like 20, 25 bucks, something like that? So that's the vacuum tree. This is my throttle body setup. This is how it look on the motor. Use 2-barrel adapter, FMB 58mm throttle body, extreme velocity, carb hat. I think it's cool. It's very nice. It's not cheap, but very nice. And this will fit, believe it or not, this will fit. It's not that big. Not that big at all. But this will fit under the under this factory cowl right here. It'll touch. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna touch right there on the wires, but it fits. So give me a few minutes, get this cleaned up. Almost got it done, and we'll go from there. And I'll explain the AC compressor, and I think that's about it, and how I made that work. All right, once you get your fuel rails and you get your cylinder heads all figured out, you're gonna need to cut, well, don't fall, that little ear off, just like that one there, that one on the back. You gotta cut all that off. It looks like that on the other side. Cut that off. You can get an angle grinder, and I don't know, a sanding pad or whatever you want to do. Cut that off, sawzall, just like that right there. Okay. Then you can go by Home Depot and buy some of this. It's about 15 bucks in the hardware section. Buy one of those, one of these. I believe it's 5/16 all thread. Get it in a piece like this long, 6 foot long, whatever you want. So you want to cut 3 of these. 3 of these at 1.5 inches. Just like that. And you want to cut 3 of these at 5.5. You can cut these with an angle grinder, just kind of round off the tips. Just like that. The nuts will go right on. So 3 of these, 1.5 inches. 3 of these, 5.5. Get the nuts and a washer to match. Then you put these in here like so. I like to go to its flush on the bottom, maybe a little bit, just a hair up. Then you just slide your AC compressor on, like so. As you can see, it's gonna be tight. You can cut a little bit more off, sand it off, whatever. That right there is what it's gonna look like, just like that. Okie doke. So here it is all back together. Those are on there nice and tight now. I tighten these down pretty evenly. A little here, a little there. The hose is on there. I put this over it just to help protect it from rubbing, which it doesn't rub, but who knows, it might start rubbing. But what I did was I like to kind of sit this loosely because it's so tight right here. Set this kind of loosely, kind of up. Put your radiator hose on and get your clamp ready, and then set this down. Because if not, it's a pain in the butt trying to get the hose over it down there with this in the way and your clamp, and it's just a pain in the butt. But there it is. It is on there. 1.5 inch spacers. That helps clear. You can't really see it, but it helps clear that bolt right there, because it's literally like right there, almost on top of it. So that's the reason for spacing. Because other than that, you really wouldn't have to space it. Well, I guess you would a little bit because of the thermostat housing, but that bolt down there, it's this bolt, but on the other side. So that's it. This is the stock belt, which I believe is a 97 inch long, maybe a 97.5. It technically needs a little bit shorter. I don't know if you can see the alignment right there. Same with this side. You can see the little line with the little arrow. So I have to order an inch or a 1/2 inch shorter belt. This is the stock one. That is an underdrive pulley. It's a 30% underdrive. So with the stock pulley, you need a 99. Alright, this is after everything is done. That's what it looks like from here. Can't even tell it. So that's what it looks like from the side. If you stare real hard, you'll see it or whatever. But that's everything. It's a Super Victor, single plane intake, trick flow heads, AC. 8AN billet fuel rails for the Hughes air gap, and I converted them to fit on this Victor. They fit perfectly, just got to make brackets. But that's it. That's her. Everything is kosher. It's good to go. I'm gonna start it up, let you guys hear it in just a second. But that right there is the stock belt, the underdraft pulley. So 1.5 spacers and stock belt with a 30% underdraft pulley, and it goes right on there. So give me a second, let me fire it up. All right. I'll take care of something real quick, but there we go. That's it. You guys see it? It runs good. AC cuts on and off. Does good. Runs good. Couldn't be happier. So, hopefully this helps a few of you guys out. And if you got any questions or whatever, just drop a comment below. Other than that, peace out.